Yeah, hi, I'm Detlef Alder from GuitarPoint. I'm here with my friend Joe Bonamassa in Nürnberg shortly before his show. And Joe was kind enough to give us a rundown on his guitars he's using on this 2018 Europe tour.
I'd like to start by saying that I think the nicest guitar in the vault right now is the Carina Explorer back scratcher. I think that's the nicest one we're going to see today. So
back scratcher. Oh.
We did them in both 335 and Explorer. It's comes with a brown case. Yeah, it comes with a brown case.
That's very important, the case.
Yeah, here's what I have. You know, Detlef and I have known each other for a long time and bought a lot of guitars, and not including today. We made a deal on something. We'll start with the Fenders. Actually, no, we're going to start this way. Here's a guitar that may not be associated with somebody like me, but a great guitar. This is a 1995 Hamer Flying V, Carina. And I have two original Carina Vs, and neither of which are here. The set this year didn't really call for much of a V, and so it's hard to justify traveling with those big guitars like that if you're not going to use them or use them for a song. So we have this, and it sounds great. This is serial number 615. So, and I have a matching Explorer Hamer at home, which is kind of fun. Here's kind of a rare guitar that people discount because it was made in the 70s. This is a 1972 Medallion Firebird, serial number 112. And I bought this at the same shop in Spokane that I found a really nice one-owner 65 Lake Placid Blue Strat about 2 years before that. And I bought this, technically, it was on consignment from the widow of the original owner, so I have the receipt, I have the payment schedule. And you know what? You know, an original one is going to cost $10,000 or more, or euros, you know, or 60s Firebird 5. This is just as good for about half the price.
Did it come with the original case?
It comes with the original case with the badge.
With the same badge, with the same serial number?
Yeah, and
that's so rare because usually they need the medallion from the case for making another one.
For making another V.
So that is
And no, the medallion in the
rare.
case. And I have the whole thing. I have the receipt for the guitar, everything. It's all in one package. So this has been a really good guitar. And I use this for a song called Mountain Climbing. And it was mint until I hit the headstock on it. This is the infamous Zach Caster, Zach Tickler, a gentleman who. One world-class chef, and is nice enough, and along with Alex, to come out and provide all the tour catering for us. And this was his dad's. And this guitar is a 1967 ES355 factory mono in sparkling burgundy. And I use this for a song called Driving Towards the Daylight. And it's
one of my favorite songs. I actually hope that you play the Esquire on this one tonight.
Maybe.
Because I remember that you stopped playing that song when you sold the guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the days.
And this one's got flat ones on it, because I like the way that the song works with flats. And this guitar works well with flats. And typical issues with these, pickguard's new. You actually helped me put this on. And because the original pickguard, which I have, is deteriorated, and then if you leave it in the case with the deteriorated pickguard, everything turns green. So, but it's a rare guitar because it's factory mono. You know, you don't see them often. You know, you see a fair amount of sparkling burgundy. It's got a free headstock crack too, but it's not going anywhere. You know, that's the thing. If you ever get a old Gibson guitar, it's got that kind of hairline. You just leave it. Leave it until it does something.
Yeah.
This guitar I just bought, 62 335 Albert Hall spec, I like to call it. Stop tail, cherry red. And I bought this from a guy who owned it since 74. And he actually sent a letter to Gibson in 74, inquiring, because he was British, inquiring about the year of his vintage Gibson guitar. And this was about 1974 as dated, and they sent him a correspondence back, and it was in the case. And based on the serial number and nothing else, they said it was a 61, which it's not. We all know it's a 62 or maybe early 63.
The block inlays.
The block inlays. And
does it have a skinny neck or?
Yeah, it's not a huge.
Oh, very comfortable, yeah.
I have a 64 that has a much bigger neck than
Yeah.
that.
The one we had in the shop.
So that guitar gets used for when I wear out the Les Paul. Here's a very odd one. It's the only R9 since the custom shop started that somebody inquired about having their name put in the fingerboard. And so I asked Rick Embar. I said, "Hey, can you put my name in the fingerboard of an R9?" He's like, "Sure, no problem." And the E lines up with the 12th fret, and the A lines up with the 5th fret. I'm not sure if that's a coincidence or it's just a happy accident. But people have inquired about, like, going, "Hey, to the customer shop, hey, can I get a guitar with Joe's name on the fingerboard?" I'm like, "Why not put your own name on the fingerboard? I don't want my name on it. Why? Like, I know why I did it."
Maybe too long.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then this one here, this is, the Gibson's been super nice about indulging me on crazy ideas, and this is no different. This is what I call the Headless Horseman, and I always like the look of those EV2, EV3 basses from the 50s that had the banjo tuner.
Basics, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the banjo tuner.
Right.
And I always like that clean headstock look. And so what we did was we rammed 6 Firebird tuners
On the back.
and it's Mike Hickey's favorite guitar. Can't get enough.
I guess why, yeah.
Can't get enough, especially when it's. But I use this song on a song called "Blues of Desperation" when we play it, and for what that is, it works well. This guitar proves that the internet is right all the time, and I'm wrong all the time. This is an R8. Yeah, it's an R8 with what was universally panned by people on the internet, so I believe it, because they know more than I do. This has a built-in like tube screamer, like gain thing, and it sounds fantastic. So it's like if you depress the button, it's just a regular.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they built them, and you can see they have the trim
They
pots
did.
in the back. And you know what this is great for? When you go to a jam, or when you're playing with somebody, and you have a kind of a crappy amp with no, and you don't have a pedal, you want to bring a whole
Bring
kit.
only one guitar and then you have to
Hit
do
that,
it.
and you got monster, and it really does sound great. But again, it was panned by the people on Instagram. So if Proposition 303 passes in California, and we all hope it does, that means everything people say online will be legally binding. Anyway, that's an old Simpsons joke. Here's one that you might like.
Yes.
This is the Skinner Burst. It's my second one, and it's about to get its second set of frets because I've kind of worn through the refret already. But this is my favorite overall Les Paul. It does everything you want it to do. Some people like the other ones I've owned better, or other ones I have better. For me, this is my favorite neck sound, balance between the front and back pickup. The one I got from you, the Runt, is second, and the Runt actually sounds better. But for me, this is 1000% my favorite Les
It's
Paul.
definitely one of the highest figure tops I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a nice top,
There's not
1951.
many bursts because back then in the years they didn't have those nice tops they have nowadays.
Well, I remember when I first got it,
It's-
because there's certain people that like you start twisting these things. I remember when I just saw it flat in the case. I'm like, where the hell is the flame? And then I started twisting it, and it comes out. And if you ever see me playing this guitar, or and ever wonder, because a lot of times up there it look like a gold top, but if you ever see this little pin, it means it's Skinner. And it's not mint; it's been played. And at the time, it was the highest in '06. It was the highest price ever paid for a non-celebrity guitar. It came from the original owner in Benton, Minnesota, and it was auctioned by the Skinner.
That's why it's called.
That's why they got it Skinner
yeah.
Burst. And there was actually 2 Skinner Bursts, 1951 and 1950. They were sequential numbers. But
This one is 1951.
one. It's 1951. This, and it's a great Les Paul, and I play it a lot. This is a guitar, 1955 Strat hardtail. And then this is another thing about the internet, if you read about hardtails, is nobody likes hardtails because blah, 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 until you actually plug one in and go, ain't that the best damn Strat you've ever heard?
That happened to me, yeah.
And
that is a 56?
55. So
I think I saw that in many of your shows for over the years.
No, the next one I'll show you. This is the guitar we use kind of for different songs, and but you know, it's just got some honest playing wear. It's a nice Bakelite. You know, the football cracked in half the other day. Mike glued it back together. We go, why use the original football? Why not?
650.
Now, this is the one I played for years and years, and this is the best damn Strat I've ever played, and this is why. Hardtail again, 55.
Is it the guitar you opened in Frankfurt? Or was it the 56?
That was the 56. Okay. Or that was the other 55. This sounds great, but this is an open A for the song. And then this is a standard tune one. But, you know, I bought this guitar. A friend of mine, Trevor in Seattle, sent me a picture of it. And I said, man, anything with this kind of mileage, it's had to be great once. And I got it and had the original frets. And I was like, we got to get frets on it. So I put some frets on it. And I think we've had it for about 4.5 years, and it's literally the only guitar that consistently travels.
That's what I meant. I think I've seen so many guitars in your rig, but this is the one I always saw.
Yeah.
And it sounds one of the best, even though I'm a burst geek, but when I hear that guitar, it's amazing.
It's amazing. And, you know...
Got the Bakelite parts here.
Bakelite. This is off a later guitar. I don't know what that's from. And then this white tape is the patented Mike Hickey, Joe Bonamassa Bakelite repair kit, and it's nothing but white electrical tape over the exposed coil parts of your Bakelite. Which then you ask the question, why not just replace the covers? And then I ask the question, why not just put the tape on the covers? It's easy. And it's a workhorse, you know, and you know it's been played, but it's also one of those things where. When heads and tails above the rest of the Strats, I put this thing up against anything. And there's 66 pots in here. I don't know why, but there is. Will not win the blue ribbon at the state fair for originality or condition, but it's a good guitar. This guitar is Terry Reid's old Telecaster, 1952, that he bought on tour with Cream when he was just a young kid, and he was opening up for Cream in Chicago, and he was doing the whole U.S. run, the whole U.S. tour. And he bought this thing in Chicago, had the original pickup. By the time he reached Manny's Music in New York, he says the pickup went dead, and then they put this humbucker in it. So it's a patent number from about 1968, and they just cut into the pickguard. And if you go online, there's a great version of Dean, which is one of his early songs and great song. He's a wonderful writer and singer. With a young David Lindley at I want to say Glastonbury, 1971. And this thing in 71 was whooped. Like, it almost looked like this. I mean, so it had a hard life from 52 to 71. And so I bought it from him in 2014, because a lot of people say, well, how do you know it's Terry Reid's guitar? Well, because I can tell you how. I went to his house, and I spent the afternoon with a very nice English gentleman named Terry Reid, and he sold me his guitar. So, and I love it.
My favorite guitars, definitely, and it sounded great in Frankfurt, definitely.
And you see this date here, 3/23/79, and it's initialed 0215 hours, and that's when the guitar was stolen at Heathrow Airport. And he checked it, because it's got a black case that says T. Reid, and somebody nicked it from him, as you would. So at the time, there was a gentleman had a shop in London winding pickups, and he was a real authority on Telecasters. So this guitar walked into this gentleman's shop, and he rang up Terry because he knew him, and the police came and they got his guitar back, and that's when they initialed it, when he got his guitar back. And would you take a wild guess what the name of the gentleman who had a shop in London at the time and helped Terry get this back? He's a young, budding pickup maker named Seymour Duncan.
No way.
Yeah, and that's the story.
That's the story, yeah.
And I showed this to Seymour, and he told me the tale. Like, oh yeah, I got this back for Terry, and you know, because he was the Tele King of, you know, and he was obviously, and you see more. So that's the story with him, and it's just an honest early 52 Tele. It's got a straight screw like a no-caster or broadcaster, but
Early 52.
early
Right.
52 is probably a blend guitar, pre-May 52, but the serial number is 2581, but that really doesn't matter. I mean, the thing about it is Fender serial numbers, as you know, they're not accurate as far as they're not in sequence. And then this is easily confused with that, but just so everybody knows, there are two of them. This is the no-caster, and that's Terry's guitar. And the no-caster, if you didn't know any better, and you played Terry's guitar and you go, wow, that's like really sounds great. And just you go, wow, it's really killer combination with the humbucker and the flagpole. This I bought from Nick Conti and Jack Hetherington at Guitar Center in Hollywood. I was sitting on the wall, and I walk in after my trip to El Compadre, and I see this thing from across the room, and I just walk right up into it. I go, you got to call me on this kind of activity. And it's a 51 no-caster that walked into the Hollywood shop, and they had tried to sell it, and somebody had tried to sell it to other shops in town. Nobody would take it. Everybody was a little like, how are we going to sell a guitar? I sit down and I play one chord on it. 2 amps. I go, I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
And there's something going on. It's 1755 is the number. There's something going on with this particular flat pole pickup that is louder and punchier and has more gain than any other Fender pickup that I've ever witnessed. I mean, it just howls, the guitar. And this pickup came out of an SG Custom, because when I bought it, it had a patent number in this. This is a PAF off of a 3 pickup SG Custom, and this was the middle pickup in the harness. I bought a whole harness from a gentleman in South Africa, and this was the middle pickup. And I plugged it in. It's self-wired, by the way, which is dangerous, but I did the wiring myself. My soldering gun, not a station. I had like the Radio Shack one. Really dangerous. And when I wired it up, it immediately got this wonderful clacky out of phase thing in the middle. And I normally am not a fan of the out of phase, but this one in particular is like, it's like having a phase 90 on the guitar, So front pickup is as advertised. These two are out of phase, and then that's set for scorch. And I've played this almost as much as that Strat, so it's starting to wear out. These are tuners, single line. They should be no line tuners, but again, on something like this, dude, I don't really care, This is all me. I find with a Tele, my default setting is I kind of put my fingers down here, and this is all Jobo doing that. And I'll show you another one. This is a great story. When I first got my 59, first one years ago, a decade ago. Some guy comes up, and you probably know the guy or know of these kind of people at guitar shows. And he says, I hear you got a burst. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, man. I'm really excited. Can't wait to play it. He goes, every scratch you put on that guitar takes $1,000 worth of value off of it. And I said, oh man. And I kind of took it to heart. And I was like, man, I got to get the white gloves, because I owed my friend Elliot a lot of money on this. He gave it to me on time.
Magellan, yeah.
And I started to think about it, and I said, "Oh, it makes sense though. Put $1,000, scratch on the guitar. You don't want to drop it, But if I nick it, while playing, it's going to happen." And I started thinking about it. I go, if I put 165 scratches on this guitar, is it worth nothing? And I said, no, it's not. So
good point.
So this mark here, that's me. When I got it, didn't have this mark. And it's not because I'm careless. It's not because I abuse the guitars. It's just because in battle conditions, when you play, it
happens.
It happens. And I find on bursts, or any old Les Paul, it depends on the carb of the top. If some of them are a little more extreme, this one happens to be an extreme. There's a pretty good ridge here. Some are a little more flat. It just depends on who made it. And, and that's the one thing I think the point of all of this is if you, are lucky enough to own a guitar or old guitars, is don't be shy about playing it, because if you don't play it, then it just becomes like you might as well just.
That's what they're actually made for.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well just buy stamps.
Stamps or
Franklin Mint coins.
Franklin Mint.
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, it's like they're here to be collected, they're here to be played. Use them, don't abuse them, and they'll give you a lifetime of enjoyment out of it. And so that's all I got. That and a Van Halen hard hat, which belongs to Mike Hickey, and that's it. So thanks, Detlef.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the rig
No
down.
problem.